couple of years ago, I spent some time on the other side of these mountains in a place called Torres del Paine National Park in southern Chile. It was easily one of the most extraordinary experiences I've had since joining Getaway. I will never forget how easy it was. How you could just drive up to some of the most sensational views in the world. And the colours of the lakes, they were absolutely beautiful. The mountain vistas seemed close enough to touch, and of course, the glaciers just took my breath away. It really was remarkable, and I remember when I said that to my guide, he just laughed and said, "You haven't seen the best of the Patagonian region yet." For that, I had to go to Argentina, on the other side of the Andes. So here I am at last, at the end of the earth again, about to explore Los Glaciares National Park. Your first test of stamina is the 15-hour flight from Australia to Buenos Aires, followed by another couple of hours flying to Rio Gallegos, and then a 6-hour haul by road to the tiny town of Chaltén. Then, and only then, are you ready to start the foot slog. Unlike Torres del Paine, the big scenery isn't right in your face here. The backdrop gives you a hint of what's to come, but the best stuff takes a bit of energy and effort to reach.
Hey Alberto, apart from the fact that you live here, of course, what do you think makes this park so different to Torres del Paine?
I think because this park has the biggest mountains in Patagonia, and also Fitzroy is a climber's mecca.
It first became popular to scale the 3,441-metre peak in the 1950s. People who prefer to look but not climb started coming for a walk in the park about 10 years ago.
What I really love of this area is that I have the feeling that it is like it always was, and I have the feeling also that it's probably the wildest place on earth.
Alberto Di Castillo is a legend among guides. He's spent 8 years trying to take in every nook and cranny, every rock and waterfall, taking the most uncoordinated of us with him.
Imagine this place in winter. The waterfall is completely frozen and it's full of icicles hanging. It's very pretty.
If the often fickle weather does close in on you, or the idea of a hot shower appeals in an area where you'll still wear multiple layers in summer, Chaltén has a couple of places where you can stay. Fitzroy Inn is the biggest, but not necessarily the best. It's about a 2-star standard and pretty comfy. Not much happens in town. There are only about 100 people who can truly call themselves locals. The rest, they're blow-ins for the tourist season every November to April. And then there are the cowboys. They take over the town twice a year for a competition of horse handling skills. But this is a mere distraction from why we're here and why another group of Aussies have travelled halfway around the world to be here too.
I think the remoteness. You can be really alone and quiet, and the smells. We got out of the bus to look at some birds and just look at the scenery, and the smell of the earth was so sweet and so different from anything I've ever experienced. I'll remember that forever.
Just like nothing else, just with the mountains around and being up in the Fagus forests, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah, it's just like not flat like everything in Australia.
There are plenty of relatively easy half and full day walks to do here, but if you're looking for something a little more challenging or even a spot of technical climbing, you won't be disappointed. The whole place is absolutely breathtaking. The most stunning walk takes you to the base of Mount Fitzroy.
Oh wow, that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's clear, it's beautiful.
Yeah. You ever climbed it?
Yes, a few years ago.
Oh, must have been awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
Is it one of the biggest peaks in Patagonia?
It's one of them. It's huge.
Getting close to it is a lot less challenging. The walking's pretty flat right up until you've gone too far to turn back. and there's only a 40-minute climb between you and some views to brag about for years to come. If we were in the Himalaya, it would take weeks to reach a vantage point like this, but I left the hotel just 4 hours ago. It's absolutely amazing. The glaciers around Mount Fitzroy are impressive for their remoteness alone, but they're not a patch on the Puente Merino Glacier, about a 4-hour drive from Chaltén, near the town of Calafate, and still within the 6,000 square kilometres of the national park.
On a wow scale of 1 to 10, this is registering a 12.
By anyone's standards, this chunk of ice is incredible. A 4-kilometre wide front, standing 70 metres high and stretching over 30 kilometres in length. And it's been that way since 1917, when it first came into contact with land.
Torres del Paine in southern Chile will always be special to me, but the Glaciers National Park here in Argentina has really fired my imagination. I just love the whole wild, windswept nature of the place. The fact that it is still so untamed and untainted by tourism. I think though, if you're going to come all the way here from Australia, you really should experience both parks, because the whole of Patagonia is just fantastic.
The Paine and Fitzroy adventure is run by World Expeditions. The 16-day trek, including guides, transport, accommodation and most meals, starts from $3,745 per person, twin share. Trips depart in January and February of 1999. Qantas and Aerolíneas Argentinas fly to Buenos Aires 4 times a week. Return economy airfares start from $2,199 from the East Coast, $2,499 from Adelaide and $2,649 from Perth.